So we've got literally triggered, I believe, in red. I wasn't certain of that until I saw the Stab of Fleet issue, and that's an absolute dead giveaway. Which means Odin's Call are in fact in blue, bringing their 3 Vargas again. So both teams actually bring in the same comps that they brought last time again, saving their ultra super spicy 3 million Scoville comps for the final.
Yeah,
So
this is
yeah,
going to be
2
really
battleships and 3
interesting.
battleships again. Especially as well as literally triggered, just went up against triple Marauder in the form of the 3 Paladins fielded by Snuff, and now they're up against the 3 Marauders in the form of the 3 Vargas from Odin's Call. So it's a slight difference in how these triple battleship comp is going to operate. So let's see how this goes.
Yeah, this is another. Basically, what I'm reading now is from having seen this literally triggered comp play out a few times. Is that this is basically an armor control comp. It's sort of similar to how the Typhoon Fleet issue comps of tournaments past would have played. You're using all of those mid slots, all of that DPS, and then just relying on your tackle wing to pick stuff out of position for you, and then just apply to it. Whilst you're using your TFIs to just put uncontrollable pressure down on some sort of target. We can see some DPS there going down on the Stab of Fleet issue, and this thing has been key for them, as you've said in past tournaments. It's taking so much damage here, though.
They're quite fast, to be fair. They're quite fast, and he's trying to outtrack these Vargas. These Vargas, again, employing a very similar strategy of park up and shoot the things. And it was effective last time. Is it going to have the same effectiveness this time? The Stab of Fleet issue seems to have been caught by the absolute godlogy of Park Bank.
The Nurgle of CO just getting clipped there with a heavy nuke, but it looks like he's going to be able to get into the backline there. This is going to be really dangerous. You don't want a Nurgle untackled your backline.
Yeah, there haven't been too many other teams utilising these Nurgles, but literally Triggered seem to be.
Oh, he's on the curse. He's on the curse.
He gets in on top of the curse and just starts zapping.
Sorry, the Kirin, not the curse.
I don't know why I'm saying curse as well. You've infected my brain. And the Tempest Fleet issue of Ryeface and is taking chunks of damage from these Vargas. These Vargas have given up on the Nurgle, given up on the Stab of Fleet issue, so let's just kill the Fleet Tempest. They've only got Tech 1 resist. And he's low armor. Parkbank's doing what he can to keep him alive, but I'm not sure if it's going to be enough. These 3 Vargas are obviously going to absolutely chunk out damage, and the Tempest Fleets don't really want to pull away because they're obviously battleships of the same kind of hull class. They don't want to ruin their own guns, their own DPS.
Yeah, you can see that he's getting neutered down by all these Vargas as well, so it's going to be a real tough time to keep all of those hardeners online, keep the AB running, whatever he's doing to just stay on the edge of glory here. But we see Melinda 1 in the Varga, he going down here as well in really low shields. This is just DPS getting spread all over the place from both teams.
Yep, and these Vargas presumably shield tanked, although I'll be honest, I'm not certain how much armor and hull HP. Armor HP is not going to have much. That much has just become apparently clear to me. I'm not sure if he actually might die before this Fleet Tempest. Parkbank's still putting in an absolute shift in keeping Rayface alive.
Gideon Zendikar, one of the Kirins, he's not putting out reps at all. It looks like he's been completely neutered out by that Nurgle, and he's not long for this world either. The Tempest Fleet issue of Ryferson is going down. It's going to be a Varga for a Varga and TFI for.
TFI does go down. There's still going to be enough damage. The Kirin is going down as well of Gideon. He's finally taken down. So that frees up the Nurgle to get on the other Kirin. So, I mean, this Tempest Fleet of Jalthi can possibly still have enough damage left to kill through this Varga. Although the Varga is still boosting.
He's getting a final few reps off here. I don't know if he's reloaded his Ansil or something, but I didn't see the spike in active reps. This is what happened there?
This is insane. They have still got the damage from those 3 Vargas, though. Critically, obviously the Varga's on very low HP, but he's still putting out as much damage as he was at the start of the match. And I mean, maybe they want to switch this Nurgle over. Maybe they should have switched the Nurgle over to make sure they could finish him off ASAP if the Kirin was jammed or neutered out and they kept focusing him. Maybe they should have switched the Nurgle earlier to kill this Varga off. But he's back up to sort of hovering around 80% shields now, and there's still these 3 Vargas absolutely pounding on the Tempest. Parkbank's trying his best, but it's just not quite enough without these jams.
Yeah, it looks like there's still a tackle fight going on there. You can see the vengeance of Mari Trakibani just keeping the Skybreaker in check. But another ship goes down there. I didn't quite see what it was.
That was the second Kirin of Odin's Call.
Okay, so that's a lot of the sustain off the field here. We should see Melinda start to really go down, but that's all of the top end of DPS off the field for left literally triggered. They've only got a Sacrilege left here in terms of major DPS.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's a close match. It's the closest match we've had so far today, I think. Yeah, just unfortunate they couldn't quite kill that Varga of Melinda. Maybe they switched targets from the Kirin a little bit late. Possibly, errors in application and transversal matching, etc. Obviously, the Vargas sitting stationary. Maybe the Fleet Tempest started to outtrack themselves a little bit or something. Or, of course, the Sacrilege and the Nurgle, the Stab of Fleet could have been focusing something else. But if you don't kill him, obviously his DPS is still on the field. So yeah, he's free to just keep hitting the Tempest Fleet issue, and once one of them goes down, the second one is then in a 3v1 scenario. Even with the Kieran's going down, it's still not enough, unfortunately. As the Guardian of Parkbank, absolute hero, but he does finally go down. And the absolute tragedy of this match, it's going to look like the Stabber Fleet issue is finally going to lose. It is not unbeatable. It's not invincible.
But it is sexual. What a beautiful ship, and really well flown during the early parts of that match as well. It would have been so easy to get deleted by those Vargas. Those heavy autocannons have really, surprisingly good tracking, especially with bonuses the Varga gets. Coming in at just the right angle to be able to force your opponents to put DPS on you and then pull away, get back into range of your logistics and stay alive, that takes a lot of skill.
Yeah, we saw that as well in the first match that the triggered flew last weekend. So, I mean, there's some kind of weird hull bonus on the Stabber Fleet issue that gives it like 100% bonus to clutchness or something that makes it survive in crazy situations. But yeah, I mean, it's all down to piloting, really, isn't it? Jokes aside, it's all down to piloting, and this Maddox overt's clearly got the X factor in keeping that Stabber Fleet issue. Obviously, only a faction cruiser with Tech 1 resists, but he makes it look like a sacrilege or something. Why spend the 12 points on a second sacrilege when you can save 5 and bring a Stabber Fleet issue and using magic turn it into a second sacrilege?
Yeah, I think this match also does help illustrate why a lot of... Wow! Another support frigate going down there pretty quickly. Oh, boundary violation on the stalk, even better. But, but I just want to say that this kind of highlights some of the issues of bringing the Nurgle. You know, if you'd have been able to upgrade that sacrilege to a command ship or something a bit heavier in the mid-range area, this comp would have probably broken Belinda 1 in the Varga, and that would have completely turned this match.
Yeah, I feel like the AF class in the tournament format is picked basically to be sort of tanky tacklers, similar to the sort of Tech 3 destroy role that you see Swipples, they're sort of screening and tackle, and damage isn't really their focus. And the 3 extra points you spend on the Nurgle for the damage and the nukes it provides, I'm not sure if it's worth it. I mean, it's worked in the past, but most teams don't seem to have picked it up. I feel like 7 points for what is essentially a assault frigate that does lots of damage if you leave it alone for 2 minutes is maybe not worth it, or maybe too niche for most comps. I mean, literally Triggered seems to like it, so fair play to them.
Yeah, I really agree, because you can get almost twice the DPS out of that same point value if you bring like a Vexer and a Bomber.
Yeah.
What you're getting is the ability to do that and tackle, and again, you can do that with like 2 Vexers, and it's so much stronger and so much more disruptive to your opponent's backline.
Yeah, and obviously everything in the tournament generally comes down to point cost. You know, if battleships were all 3 points, everyone would bring as many battleships as they can. They can't, thankfully, but I mean, 3 points of the Nurgle versus a regular assault frigate is quite a big deal. You have to compromise something somewhere else. And yeah, they're quite limited on the top end of this comp with only the 2 Fleet Tempests, Sacrilege, and immediately they're getting down into the smaller stuff with the Nurgle, the Stabber Fleet, Pontifex Confessor. So they've got quite an extensive sort of cruiser and below wing, but for the big mainline DPS, they've only got the 2 Fleet Tempests, and once one of them goes down, they're in trouble.
Yeah, one of the ships I've been surprised not to see more of though is the Kiki Mora. I haven't really been playing around with it too much in the comps, but it seems like such a powerful ship on TQ. Is there any reason you wouldn't be able to make use of it in the tournament?
I'm not too familiar with the Kikimora, but my understanding is that it can actually project quite well if you fit its shield with like 2 MSEs and just fly around at range. But again, if you do that, you're sort of not really fulfilling the tackle role that most of these 4-point ship classes seem to fill. And actually, I'm not sure about the cost of the Kikimora. I think it also
It's
may
8
have
points.
8 points. Okay, 8 points for a Tech 1 destroyer. No chance. Not happening. Not happening at all.
Fair enough. Well, seems like Literally Triggered also have no chance. Sorry, yeah. Wait, I'm sorry. The template's confusing me. Was Literally Triggered on the blue side there?
No, literally trigger was red.
Oh,
I believe.
okay.
If you got a confusing
Right.
overlay.
Well,
That's okay.
whichever team lost there has absolutely no chance either, much as I have no chance of knowing what the hell's going on. So we'll head back to the studio.